You don't know me, but if you're familiar with weapon-restricted challenge runs, you know that there are three different kinds of these challenges. First is where the weapon is bad or meant for the early game, and it's difficult to finish with. Second type is a really powerful weapon that's hard to get early on, or lastly, an obscure weapon that no one really talks about. This video is the last kind. The Silence 22 SMG is a weapon that I don't really see that much outside of videos talking about submachine guns in New Vegas, or just all weapons in New Vegas in general. So I decided that I was going to use this weapon to its fullest, and see how to best utilize it. Can I beat Fallout New Vegas with only the Silence 22 SMG? Before we begin, let's go over the rules. First, I can only use the Silence 22 SMG to handle fighting. I can use other weapons to sell off or for quests. Second, I cannot use any companions to fight for me, as that would invalidate the difficulty of the run. I can, however, use them to fulfill any other purpose outside of combat, such as with quests. Third, I must complete any GRA challenges that this weapon has, which for the Silence 22 SMG is the Nya See challenge, where I need to kill a total of 10 Sherman, White Gloves, or Omertas. Pretty simple. And with that, let's begin the run. I woke up in Doc Mitchell's house. I've been shot in the head and I want some revenge. For my special stats, I pick 5 in strength and 5 in perception because why not? 9 endurance for high HP, 1 charisma because this is New Vegas, 9 intelligence for skill points, 10 agility because I'm making a guns build, and 1 luck because critical hits aren't really something SMGs benefit from. For my tag skills, I take guns for obvious reasons, sneak, and medicine. Lastly, the traits that I picked were skilled because yes, and trigger discipline, as I believe the aided accuracy would help me in being stealthy. Once I'm out of Doc's house, I make my way to Chet's shop, not because he sells the gun that I'm looking for, but because he has some ammo that I can use for when I do get the gun. Then I make a beeline towards Sloan. There I stop by to fix Snuffle's leg, like the good Samaritan I am, and then I stick to the rocks like I did last challenge, though I took a different route through the rocks this time and ended up running away from a few super mutants. Nevertheless, I made it to the Gunrunner's Vendertron, and he does not have my Silence 22 SMG. Bugger. Well, after a little bit more research, it turns out he won't sell me what I'm looking for until at least level 6, and all their locations are both not guaranteed, nor are they particularly easy without a weapon. So in the meantime, I guess this is a pacifist run until I get my gun. To remedy that, I decided that I was going to visit each place where I could get a silenced SMG and see if they would have been worth rushing to. In the meantime, I went to the King to do the GI Blues quest. First, the King wants me to investigate a bodyguard named Oris. No problem. I go on a trip with him and discover he's faking hits on himself to make him seem more competent. Next, the King wants me to figure out who beat up a few Freesiders, so I head to the old Mormon fort to check on them. Apparently, they were attacked by what seemed to be a soldier of some kind. I reported back to the King and told him what I learned, and he told me to look deeper into it. So I searched around and found an NCR missionary. I then used my abilities of watching Fallout lore videos at 3 AM to pass his test and went over to their super secret club. I then reported back to the King and told him what I saw. Then a King ran up and said that there was a shootout between Kings and NCR, so of course, the King sent me over to settle things. But as soon as I got over there, I couldn't really do anything. I don't have any weapons on me, and as soon as I get close to the NCR, they shoot me. So, I loaded back to an earlier save where I hadn't reported back to the King yet, and then did the optional part where I talked to Julie Farkas, and after the extra back and forth there, I reported back to the King, and I had the option to tell the King that the NCR there had sent an envoy to talk this over, but he had been beaten to a pulp. That way, when the Messenger King spawns next and tells him what's going on, the King tells me to break up the fighting again, and this time the NCR doesn't shoot me. Honestly, I could not tell you why they'd be different this way. It was practically the same exact scenario. Anyhow, I told him to stand down and reported back to the King one last time, where I got a metric shit ton of EXP. jumping all the way up to level 4. With this, I took the Rapid Reload perk because I was confident that I get enough ammo for it to matter, and the Comprehension perk because I liked it. The king also gives me a favor, so I asked for a ticket to the strip, and thanks to that, I'm able to go to the tops and get another shit ton of EXP from simply looking at Benny. Unfortunately, I am just shy away from level 6, but not to worry. I simply walk around and found some new locations with that last bit of EXP. And once I am level 6, I take the Professional perk for an additional 20% boosts for sneak attack damage. Now, with all that finally done, I made it back to the Vendortron and found out that he didn't have any he's in stock. Not to worry, I can simply wait and...
Hello there. It's good to see a friendly face. I almost took you for a raider. Name's...
After being harassed by that strange man, I then waited around and found the Vendortron selling a Silence 22 SMG. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford it, but after a quick trip to the Silver Rush and quote-unquote using their bathroom multiple times, I was able to raise enough caps for it. To test out my new Silence SMG, I decided to backtrack to Good Springs. First, I tested it against some bottles, then against a convict, and lastly, against a group of convicts. And yeah, this thing's pretty good against a group of enemies. The main advantage that the Silenced SMG has is that it has a clip size more bottomless than a pit that is bottomless. Thanks to that, you almost never have to worry about reloading, though it does eat into your ammo quite a bit. Satisfied with my results, I made my way over to Boulder City, stopping by the 118 trading post for a mod to increase my clip size even further, and then blasted Jesse and his buddy until they fell to the floor. I then went and snagged the lighter he had on him and went to the Tops Casino again. This time at the Tops, I talked to Swank and presented my evidence to him so that he'd allow me to have my Silence SMG on me while in the casino. Then I did an attempt where I tried to be a stealthy assassin to kill Benny, but I kinda messed up and got the entire chairman attacking me, which quickly killed me. On my second attempt, I ditched the stealthy approach and simply jumped down from above, and then pumped Benny and his bodyguards full of hollow point rounds. This was much more successful. Off of a couple of his bodyguards, I snagged a couple more Silence 22 SMGs, and then moonwalked my way to the Lucky 38, where I met up with Mr. House. There, Mr. House paid me for the platinum chip, and then took me down for a trip to his basement for a demonstration. I leveled up to 8 and took the Toughness perk, and he sent me to the fort to activate the rest of his Securitrons. However, I decided to do a few side quests first. First, I went over to the Morningstar Cavern. According to the wiki, there's a chance that a silenced SMG could be found in either the duffel bag or the dead mercenary inside. Unfortunately, neither was the case. Then I did the Talent Pool quest, then the Fiend Leader Bounty quest, becoming level 10 in the process and gaining the second rank in the Toughness perk. Then I went to Vault 3, and thanks to the great con armor I got back in Boulder City, I was able to walk around without being attacked by the fiends inside. I also got some more silenced SMGs here, being able to use my 100 sneak effectively. I never actually got a one-shot on any of them, but all I had to do was wait a moment and then make sure that I was hidden each time that I fired. And thanks to all the fiend killing, I was able to procure a huge amount of ammo, though, to be honest, it's probably going to run out after a few fights. Well, I guess I was wrong. Almost immediately, it all ran out after I took a trip to Lake Lure Cove to check the duffel bags where Silenced 22 SMGs could be spawned. There were no Silenced 22 SMGs. Awesome. Well, at least I have confirmation that I needed to buy my weapon from the Vendortron at the start. Anyway, I made my way over to the fort and met with Caesar, the big salad of the Legion. He wants me to blow up the Securitrons underneath, but of course, I'm not going to do that. I'm with Mr. House today. Instead, I went inside and activated the Securitrons. It doesn't really matter though, the bald idiot thinks that the noises underneath are destruction. He then instructs me to kill Mr. House, but as I said before, I'm on his side today, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, when I returned to the Lucky 38, I received House's next assignment for me. to recruit or neutralize the boomers. So I went my way over to Nellis Air Force Base, killing George along the way, and made it across the boomers' artillery with only a few limbs broken. At Nellis, I decided to heal all the sick boomers in their medical center, and before then betraying them, killing Loyal and Pearl. Though I didn't want them knowing that she had been murdered, so I put her body on a bed to make it seem that she tripped. Yeah, that'll work. Reporting back to Mr. House, he now wants me to investigate the Omertas. Now, originally I was going to do that, but I still hadn't finished my GRA challenge yet, so... Hey, the Omertas can't scheme behind Mr. House's back if they're dead. Mr. House wasn't really impressed with me pulling a Nurbit, but he still sent me to wipe out the Brotherhood of Steel anyway. Now, I did try to attack them head on, but my gun ain't just cutting it, Chief. Their armor protects them way too much, and I don't even have armor-piercing rounds or a pulse option to help me out this time. So instead, I played along with their game. Their game is to attach a bomb collar on me, and then tell me to get an NCR Ranger off their property. Of course, I didn't have the speech skill to talk him away, so I did what I had to. Now that I had done that for them, the Brotherhood took off my bomb collar and lower their guard, letting me in and out of their bunker. This was a big mistake on their part though. Using my maxed out sneak skill, I swiped the keycards from their leaders, and then set the bunker to blow up. With all the minor factions for Mr. House taken care of, he then sends me to protect the NCR's president, Kimball, as he visits Hoover Dam. Everything went fine until I noticed a sniper falling from his tower, and then when I checked it out, behold, a Legion spy. Killing him was easy enough though. With everything all according to House's design, he had one last task for me, which was to power the substation. Though, once again, I did want to take a few side quests and other stuff before finishing the game, so let's rapid fire through them. Crazy took the Cannibal perk at level 12, Ranger Ghost dipped in quest, Revenge of Boone's wife, Beyond the Beef, I sent Boone to the meat locker for that one, took pictures for Michelangelo, gave Prim to the NCR, cleared out the powder gangers in the NCRCF, took the tag perk at level 14 in tag speech, and then that lucky old son. You might be wondering what I did all those levels for. Simply put, I just wanted a high enough lockpick to unlock a briefcase at the Lucky 38. I don't think it was that worth it though. I only got 64 or .22 LR rounds. At that point, I had run out of ideas, so I went to the substation, powered it up, went back to house, and then remembered I wanted to check Quartermaster Barton at Hoover Dam. So I went over there and got the largest amount of 22 rounds that I've ever seen. With everything done, I believe that I was ready for the Battle of Hoover Dam. So, at the dam, I mostly ignored the Legionaries, letting the NCR and Securitrons deal with them instead. The NCR heavy troopers inside were not that difficult to take out. In fact, for some reason, the Legates Praetorians felt more tanky, weirdly enough. Now, I did attempt to fight the Legate at my current state, but I'm gonna re-reel. I don't think it's possible. He simply has too many men coming in at once that all each take too long to take out that I couldn't really handle it. Not to mention my weapon was rapidly deteriorating, meaning that it'd take even more longer reloading. So, I reset at an earlier save and remembered the Garrett twins had some quests, so I collected some debts and hookers, funneled more points into speech, and then tried again. This time with my improved speech, a Meeting People's magazine, and some drugs, I was able to convince him to fight me one-on-one, which was leagues more manageable. Much like my throwing knife video, my strategy basically boiled down to running backwards while squeezing my finger against my trigger to pump the Legate full of lead. Except this time it felt much better, because I could simply hold down the fire button rather than constantly clicking it. Although the Legate did knock me down a couple of times, I was able to get back up and keep firing at him. Eventually, after a long-fought battle, full of running around the fort, I slayed the monster of the East. Afterwards, General Oliver and his rangers made an entrance to take credit for what happened, but I soon wiped them out with the help of Mr. House and his Securitrons. Then Mr. House thanked me for a job well done, and I beat the game and completed my challenge. So, can I beat Fallout New Vegas with only the Silence 22 SMG? Yes. This challenge was a lot of fun, definitely a lot better than the throwing knives one. Although it isn't really that good for a stealth build due to its low damage, it's still a pretty effective gun. Even against tankier enemies, as long as you have enough ammo for it, you'll eventually either cripple them into a stun lock or get lucky with a couple of crits. Though that ammo is weirdly hard to get a lot of. Regardless, thanks for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And leave a comment. It would really help out a first-time YouTuber like me. Feel free to leave any ideas you have for future videos, but until then, I'm the Corruptest, and I'll see y'all next time.